Well, hey guys, surprise, surprise, surprise. Yep, the real me is back. Oh, yeah, so for those of you who don't know, um, little over 2 years ago, my 8-year-old granddaughter, or almost 8-year-old granddaughter, decided for her 10th birthday she wanted a Viking themed birthday party, so that's what the hair and beard was all about. Grew it out for that. I put a picture up on the community page from the party of me all Vikinged out. So there it is. So I am back to the old me, the new me, the me. Anyway, to follow up on this last trip, and sorry it's taken so long. We were down in the valley for the birthday party after the trip, and I have two of my grandkids up here with me for about another 5 days, and we went and took them over to Meteor Crater today and had a blast on it. You know, I've been in Arizona 54 years basically, and that's the first time I've been there. And yeah, it's a big hole in the ground. Oh, but yeah, so yeah, I'm getting used to not having all the hair on the face, so I try not to do this too much, but it is what it is. Anyway, so to follow up on this last trip, hi Kathy, got to do it. Um, Shortly after uh, I made the last video that I posted talking about, yeah, hold on a second, I'm going to make just a little adjustment here. That's better. Um, yeah, what wasn't too long after we made that last video, you could see the position that we were all sitting in. Wayne was kind of facing his camper. Chris was more or less after that video. He turned his chair just a little bit to be more facing Wayne, as I did, kind of the same. But I didn't have the same view as Chris. Chris had a daytime sighting fairly close to where I had my first sighting there at Squatch Camp. Uh, he observed a black individual um, traveling from east to west fairly quick, but not not at full speed at what they moved. Not compared to the last sighting the three of us had there last August. So that was pretty spectacular, and so I'll move into the night activity. Um, Things picked up pretty good. We were getting a lot of movement. Um, I had the feeling I had somebody standing right behind me at one point, but we could hear them clicking, and we could hear footsteps, and you know the the very subtle things that they do. And at one point, I had seen movement, and so I got up and I walked over that direction. Um, and I'm sorry I'm not at camp. Maybe at camp next time I'll do a recreation on this so you can see exactly where I'm talking about. But I had walked out. What's the easiest way to I I'll have to redo this video when I get back on site, but I got to tell it while it's still semi fresh. I got up and I walked in the direction of where this individual was at, and that had got fairly close to him. Um, and I kind of got, it's close enough, but I don't know if that was for sure. but I'd stopped and I was standing there, and about 20 feet away from me, he stepped out from behind a tree. Um, about 8 foot, um, built like a man, wasn't the big, massive build of like how Indy was. So leads me to believe that, it was a young adult. Um, didn't get any name or anything like that. I don't know who it was, but so I told him I can see you standing there, and I get a click. So I clicked back at him, and he clicked again, and then off to my right, which was about 45 feet away, is what the area that we call the room. Got a click out of there, and then the one that was standing there clicked again. I clicked again, and he dropped down on all fours, and I lost sight of him from there. The only reason I was able to see him is because the skyline that was in the background, because it was fairly dark out. Um, this is probably around 9:30 at night, 9:45. Moonrise wasn't until 10:45. So it was dark out. So the the only reason I could see him was, excuse me, due to the fact that there was some skyline behind him, and so I was able to see him because of that. And so what, it was just a lot of that kind of activity. Um, we had we had actually gone out, back out to the 2-track road, and walked back to where the uh, that particular episode happened the night before. Nothing really going on there. So we just kept walking down the road a ways, and I don't know how far we had got. We'd gone a couple hundred yards at least, and I had got the mind speak safety. And so I told the guys, Wayne and Chuck were talking, and I really wasn't listening to what they were talking about because I was, more focused on my surroundings and, listening. And but I got the message safety, and I told them that, and they said, all right, yeah, let's go back to camp. And so we turn around and we're walking back down the road. And every now and then something just extremely hilarious happens. But there's a backdrop to this. Um, Apparently, Wayne had seen something right before I said safety, go off the left side of the road, and he thinks it was a young bear. Um, you know, it, we're not 100% what it was, but, the fact that I got the message safety, and, so we turned around. I didn't know about what Wayne had seen until we got back to the camp. But as we're walking there, all of a sudden Chris jumps and he's like, "What the?" And he takes out his cell phone. He's shining his cell phone, and what it was a very small tree that, from snow load this winter, was pushed down almost to the ground. It was probably up in the air, you know, a foot and a half. Well, he brushed against that, and after what Wayne said that he saw something, and I got the message safety. Yeah, it was a priceless moment. We ended up laughing about that most of the night. Um, so every now and then something happens, and that you just have to laugh about, and that's one of those things that we're going to ruka about for a long time. And ruka is something that happens on the hill, stays on the hill. It's one of the stories. So, um, trying to think of what else. Oh, yeah. the big part of it. So if you look on that video that the previous video that I made, I showed how where my cot was on the ground and where Chris's cot was. Back behind my cot, there's a good reference point. Back behind my cot, probably about 20 feet is where I walked to when I saw the individual, because I had seen movement over there, and I think Wayne said or Chris said that heard something, and checked my little table that I had sitting there that my CPAP machine sits on. There wasn't nothing there, so I continued walking, and then that's when I had the vision, the sighting. But so anyway, the first night sleeping out on the cot, nothing happened that I'm aware of. I still haven't uploaded any of my audio. But that last night we were there, the second night, 2 different times, my foot got grabbed. So, it wasn't a coyote, it wasn't a fox, it wasn't a wolf, it wasn't a bear, it wasn't an elk, it wasn't a deer. Something with a hand grabbed my foot twice at 2 different times. How far apart it was, I don't know. Once again, I've got to get get my audio uploaded, if it uploads, because the last time I was out with the audio files are on my recorder, but neither of my computers, my laptop or my desktop, will even recognize that those files are there. So, it is what it is. So I'll have to get into the files, and I'm probably going to try and do that a little later tonight. Like I said, I got my grandkids here, and trying to spend the good quality papa time with them and just enjoy it. So I am over the 10-minute mark. Couple things I am going to say, from comments that were on the last video. And I think one of the first comments was about, can we show you guys the tracks, the one that crossed the road. The first thing I'm going to say, which I've said hundreds and hundreds of times throughout my videos, they don't follow the same laws of physics that we seem to, that we're bound to, how that works. That we've hypothesized it inside and out, but it is what it is. They leave tracks only when they choose to. B, the substrate up there, meaning the ground, is compressed sandstone with a little bit of loose sand on the top of it, a little bit of soil on the top. Where he crossed the road, I could cross the road and not leave any tracks there. So I don't really look for tracks. I'm way past that. Like the header on my channel says, I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to share my experiences. However, we did find a footprint down in Squatch Valley. I did take pictures of it. I'll probably put it on the community page, but once again, because of light and shade, it's really hard to make out on the photograph itself, but it was there. It was a rock solid footprint. So unless I have something that is just blatantly obvious, I'm not going to put it on here. It's not going to be like drawing circles and points and going, look at this, and this is what I'm looking at. Unless it's something that's just absolutely blatantly obvious, I'm not going to post it. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm about, and that's not what I do. Addressing somebody else's comment. Trying to remember exactly how it was worded, but in essence it was, have I ever had anything threatening happen? And I'd commented on there, absolutely no. Have I had a couple of times when I had misinterpreted what was going on? Yeah, way back at the beginning, especially my first encounter when I was in the Boy Scouts back in the early 80s. That was, the most terrifying thing I've ever been through in my life, equal to or more so than, being in combat. But that, knowing what I know, I absolutely misinterpreted the whole entire thing. So have they ever done anything threatening to me? No. Very peaceful, very loving. A lot of time. It takes a lot of time to develop the level of trust and understanding, and with these people, and it's a respect thing. Our teenagers, absolutely. Our kids, absolutely. And will they sometimes do something to try and get a rise out of you? Yeah. But just like if it was my kids or my grandkids, hey guys, knock it off, and they do. They stop. Um, it's just treating them with dignity, treating them with respect, and that kind of favor gets returned. So. Um, with that, I'm gonna say my adieus. Because like I said, I got my grandkids here and I just got things to do. But I wanted to get this video up real quick. I will expand on it next time I'm back up on site, which I'm hoping is going to be uh, 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks out is what I'm hoping for. So, with that being said, I love each and every one of you. Please be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Please stay safe. Peace out.